Well, I don't know if I've said welcome yet, but I want to welcome everyone to our service this morning. My name is Sally Atkinson, and I am honored to be your service leader today. I'm going to talk today a little bit about fear, and it's a reflection. It's not really a sermon. And I've titled it The Fear Tree, and I'll explain that as I go along. One of the things I've learned over many, many years is that fear of strangers and territoriality are hardwired into our human DNA. From the time of early humans, tribes protected the grounds that they called their own hunting grounds from neighboring interlopers. Okay, I do understand why it was necessary for survival during that era, but we see it reenacted daily throughout the world. The coronavirus pandemic triggered and highlighted worldwide fear responses. Business closures or threats of closure inflame the fear of financial insecurity, increase worry about the loss of healthcare benefits, and perhaps the loss of income. Essential workers suit up and show up daily, and they worry about what they may bring home with them. The unemployed wonder how to pay the rent, buy food or medication, and keep their families safe and warm. We all have a concern that we might contract the virus, and what would it do to us? We all have something to fear during this pandemic, and such intense fear can lead to apathy, resentment of authority, acting out against perceived infringements of our rights, and outright violence. Added to the pandemic and its economic impact are the 237,000 citizens of the United States who have died in COVID-related 19 illnesses. Many families and communities are grieving. The death of George Floyd that triggered the incredible resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement. And here in New Mexico, the Black and Brown Lives Matter movement sets us all up, and especially those who are afraid that they're going to give up everything they've earned to people who didn't earn it with them. I haven't figured out what earning means yet, but anyway. The ongoing humiliation and demonization of others leads to rage and despair. The election process intensified all these fears. How will I vote? Will I be able to get to a polling place? Will my ballot arrive in time? Will my vote be counted? If I post a campaign sign on my lawn, will I face vandalism? Whew. You know, and now this is just my opinion, but fear is a funny thing, and not funny, haha. It's funny, odd, and unusual, and you never can figure it out. It inspires us to run towards it, to run from it, or to freeze in place. Now, I have to tell you, in multiple psychology classes and in the military, I learned about the fight or flight responses to fear. But I never learned much about freezing in place. Yet there are times in my life when I am immobilized by fear. There are advantages to each of these responses. Freezing in place is the recommended response. Now, I've never tried this, so I don't know if it works, but it's the recommended response to meeting a black bear in the forest, not a brown bear, not a grizzly, but a black bear, or upon learning that my next step will trigger a landmine. Running away made perfect sense when my house was burning. And running toward fear was my chosen response to cancer and treatment. Fear can foster unhealthy behaviors and responses. If you look differently than I do, if you have more resources than I do, if you have fewer resources, and you may take some of mine, I may react with fear. It helps me to visualize unhealthy fear as a rapidly growing tree whose canopy reaches as far as its roots spread. The roots of the tree are fear, and the trunk twines upward with fear of loss and fear of scarcity. The belief that somehow I will lose something important or that I won't get my share. The twined trunks split into branches that bear fruits of anger, greed, false pride, envy, violence, war, theft, genocide, and more fear. I know that I cannot completely uproot the fear tree. It's been a core part of me for far too long. I'll try not to feed it. In fact, I have to quit feeding it. I have to quit watering it. If I'm going to foster hope and healing, I must stop watering my fear tree. In order to do that, I have to visualize another tree in my garden. And that deeply rooted tree will have a sturdy twinned trunk. The roots are love, and the trunks are hope and peace. Love is the action, and I truly believe love is an action verb. Love is the action we take to alleviate the negativity of fear. The branches of the love tree bear the fruit of compassion, optimism, generosity, peace, coexistence, and rejoicing in differences. This tree provides all I need to heal from fear. I will water this tree.